Hey friends, Mrs. Crocker here for your next one. So we last left off talking about quadrilateral riddles and you had to be able to solve some. Today you're going to be creating your very own riddles. So the first thing I need you to do is make sure you know where your cards are at. So all your quadrilateral shapes that you created, remember mine look a little bit neater because I printed them and typed them and did all that fun stuff. Yours are the paper ones that you drew and stuff. So it doesn't matter what they necessarily look like. You just need to know its attributes. So make sure you have those handy. And what I'm going to do right now is I am going to come up with a list of words that you're going to need to know how to spell when you're doing your quadrilateral riddles today. I'm going to pretend like you're screaming them at me because that's what would be happening in the classroom. So if you think back to a quadrilateral, what are some vocab words that you would need to know? Let's see. Well, one of the major things that we always talk about are the number of sides. So the word sides is definitely going to be crucial. Okay, to be a quadrilateral, it has to have 4 sides. So that's one major thing. You need to talk about sometimes it's corners. Okay, in the corners, because you're talking about their angles. I knew you were going to say angles next. They go hand in hand. They're like the dynamic duo. Angle, and if you want the S for angles, if there's more than one that has the same one. The type of lines. Ouch! Our brains are on the same wavelength. That's right. There are straight lines. There should be no curved lines for any quadrilateral. So we'll be using the word straight. Any more words? Oh, yes, you're right, friends. Symmetrical. When you talk about lines of symmetry, you can fold it in half. It's the same. And what other line? Things I'm talking about? I know. Parallel. You knew it. And some of our vocab words in relation to the type of angles. We have an acute, that little cutesy guy. He's the little one. And then you have obtuse, the big one. And then a right angle. And I'm going to write right down because there are 2 rights. And we want this right that you're talking about, the 90-degree angle. Okay, so these are some vocab words that you want to make sure that you're spelling correctly when you're coming up with your shape today. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for now. See if they can become ingrained in your brain. Now, you're going to go through your shapes and you're going to choose which one that you're going to write a riddle for today. Okay, so your choice. You can pick any shape that you created. I am going to go with trapezoid A. So I'm going to talk about a trapezoid, and this one specifically because it has a specific type of angle that I want to be talking about today. So now that I've chosen trapezoid A, I am going to write down some attributes I know about trapezoid A. Okay, I'm going to leave some of my vocab words up there so you can see them. One of the first things I see right away is that it has a right angle. So I'm going to write that down. Right angle. And it in fact has 2 right angles. So I'm going to write 2 so I don't forget. Okay. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. We talked about the word sides up there. 4 sides. We could talk about it. Other thing about its sides are any of them the same? Nope. So I would say no congruent. Should have written that word down. No congruent sides. Do we have any parallel lines? We do. These ones are parallel. So 1 pair parallel sides. What else? Oh, we can talk about that angle, these corners that we're talking about. So it's got 1 obtuse angle, 1 acute angle. You know I love that word. 1 acute angle. I can kind of, would there be any line of symmetry here? I mean, I couldn't fold it that way, wouldn't be the same. I can't fold it that way. So there's actually no line of symmetry, so it's not symmetrical. I could say that it's like two shapes put together. I could say it's a square and a triangle put together. Now, really, I'm just writing down some notes and observations so that when I go to make my clues, that I know which ones are going to be more broad, so I can start with those ones. Because if you start with a really obvious or what we call a dead giveaway quickly, they're going to know it before they even get to clue number 2. So you kind of want to find the observations that are a little bit more broad, more widespread. So that's why I'm writing my notes down so that I can look back at it. So when I actually go to write my clue, I don't give a dead giveaway first. So I think that's quite enough because I'm only going to make a 4 clue riddle today. So I'm noticing my trapezoid A has 2 right angles. It has 4 sides, no congruent sides, which means no equal sides. It's only 1 pair of parallel sides. I do have an obtuse, I have an acute angle. It's not symmetrical, and it kind of looks like a square and triangle put together if I were to break them down into pieces. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is after you come up with your observations is let's find out the ones that are obvious, really obvious. Okay, so not many shapes have right angles, in fact 2 right angles. So that's a really obvious clue that is like what we call the dead giveaway. So I do not want to use that one first. So I'm gonna like circle it and like star it. So I go, okay, Mrs. Crocker, don't use that one first. They'll know immediate. Okay. The other one that I notice is really, really obvious is it's square and triangle put together. There's not many other shapes that if I put a square and triangle together are going to look like a trapezoid. So these are my 2 dead giveaways. The other one, there's a ton. 1 pair of parallel sides, it's kind of a dead giveaway, but you wouldn't know which trapezoid. Okay, so you kind of want to leave him towards the end too. He's not as dead giveaway as these 2, but he's definitely not one I want to use first. I'd rather use maybe 4 sides. That's very broad because all of our quadrilaterals have 4 sides. No congruent sides. That would be kind of a broad one too. It would get rid of my squares because all squares have all equal sides and some rhombuses. So you've got to make sure that you circle your dead giveaways first. Now, what we can do is now come up with some clues that we want to start with. So if I'm going to use some of my notes that I took, I'm going to start and come up with maybe what I think my first draft of clue number 1. Okay, so we just said maybe clue number 1 would be that it's 4 sides. Okay, that's so broad. So 4 sides. My shape has 4 sides. Okay, so maybe clue number 2. So I already did 4 sides. What other clue could I use? Maybe I go with no congruent sides because that's broad too, like we just said. My quadrilateral, because all of them are quadrilateral, so that's not a clue. My quadrilateral has no congruent sides. Okay. Now 3. What would be a good one for 3? I think I'm going to use the not symmetrical because I think that would give away a lot of your rhombuses and even some of your other shapes that you might have, like a parallelogram wouldn't work, but a square, the rectangles, because those all have a line of symmetry. So my quadrilateral is not symmetrical. Now, this last clue, you want to choose one of your dead giveaways. You want to give one that will narrow it down. Okay, so I think I'm going to choose this first one, that it has 2 right angles. Okay, so my last clue is my quadrilateral Quadrilateral has 2 right angles. And hopefully that will narrow it down. So then I want to check if I go through all my shapes that I look, okay? So if my shape has 4 sides, well, I can't really get rid of any of those on that one, right? So there goes that one. But my quadrilateral has no congruent sides. So there goes all of my squares. There go most of my rhombuses. Look at that. So now I'm down to rectangles, trapezoids, and quadrilaterals. Okay, my quadrilateral is not symmetrical. So there goes all my rectangles. I can't use any rectangles. So now I'm down to just quadrilaterals, parallelograms, and trapezoids. Okay. Testing it out to see if it works. Okay. So if we read their last clue, my quadrilateral has 2 right angles. This one doesn't have any. This one doesn't have any. This one doesn't. That one doesn't. Does this have any? Nope, no right angles, no right angles, no right angles. There we go. So yes, this set of clues, this quadrilateral riddle does work because it left me with only 1 shape left. Okay, so that is going to be your job today, friends. You're going to come up with a riddle that has 4 clues on one of your shapes. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way and I'm going to show you what your expectations are today. Okay, so you're going to choose a quadrilateral from your cards that you created. You're going to think and write as many observations about your shape like we did together. Okay, you're going to circle your dead giveaways and save for last. Like I did, I circled them. You're going to draft the riddle with 4 clues, like I did. And then you're going to test out your riddle, like we just did, to make sure that it works. Okay, and then you share with your family. I'm going to show you one quick way that you can make a quadrilateral riddle book before you get started. So you just fold a piece of paper in half, okay, and then you fold it into fourths. And they don't have to be perfectly even, friends. This is just a draft. And then you will cut on that. You'll open it up. Don't cut both sides because then you'll be in trouble. You'll open it up like this. You're going to write each of your riddles on one of your sections. Okay? And then you cut on just that top. Okay? So you just cut right here. On just the top page. Okay, so now it's like a riddle book. Okay, so I could write clue 1. And then on that flap, my shape has 4 sides. Okay. Now this booklet part is just for fun and you can make it all decorative and stuff. Do you have to do the booklet? No. Okay. I just thought it would be fun for you guys to do. But you do need to come up with 4 things and see if your teacher or your mom and dad or whoever you're with can actually get the shape. That's the fun part, is if your parents and stuff know actually all these shapes. Okay, friends, so making your riddle today. I can't wait to see what you come up with. It's going to be awesome. Happy day, friends.